Hello, everyone, and welcome to my birthday pick for this year. A little late, but that doesn't really matter. It's Hercules.
Yay! I love this movie.
Wait, to be precise.
Wait, which
A
one?
horridly underappreciated Disney movie.
Agreed.
Shira, you lie. You told me you were watching the one with The Rock.
I did no such thing.
No.
Also, what?
Dwebs, no. No.
Plot twist, it's one of
Okay.
the episodes of Sam Raimi TV series.
Pedro, at least it's not the one with Callan Lutz.
Anyway,
Well, no shit.
Yes, Joe.
This is
what are some of
Disney's
the
Hercules,
technicals,
everyone. Basically, back in the day, this was not received that well, though nowadays it's a cult classic and gets its proper dues, partly thanks
I
to it
loved it
showing up
even
in
back
Kingdom
then.
Hearts.
Fun fact,
I loved it too.
Fun fact, this movie was written and directed by Ron Clements and John Musker, who are mostly known for Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Treasure Planet, and recently Moana.
And their style definitely shows.
Fun fact, their passion project that they wanted to make was Treasure Planet. However, what happened was they were told by the executive, okay, make us one more big financial hit, and then you're able to make your super duper awesome passion project. So that's why Treasure Planet was made after this. It was their big passion project, basically.
And then we'll screw it over by putting it next to Harry Potter.
Anyway, all right. So that's Disney's. One thing that I'd like to mention, everybody, we're watching the Blu-ray copy, aka the one that has the modern Disney logo instead of the old blue drawn animated one. So
We'll try and give a time mark for those who are watching this on VHS or DVD. Basically, I'll just give a cue when the actual credits start up, because aside from that, I don't think there's any other changes.
No. They only replace the logos. That's it.
All right, then. So be on the listen for my voice when I say go, all to you who don't have the Blu-ray version.
All right.
Good, take us away, Shiro.
All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah, funny story. You have to consider that until now, while the Renaissance of Disney introduced more comedy, it was still relatively subdued. And in fact, the movie previous this one was Hunchback of Notre Dame, which, this was the one that was like 70% comedy, so it was like a revolutionary thing in itself.
I think this was around the time when Disney were taking on a new animation style as well, sort of similar to what they did with 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, that's right. For this one, they actually asked the guy who made
and go.
Yeah, for this one, they actually.
I love the payoff of this narration. Hold on.
Sorry.
By the way, I love the music.
Me as well. Well, it's Helen Menken, Jova. What did you expect?
The music is great.
Hug the Gospels.
No, I love a gospel. Thank you very much.
Same. Thank you.
Yeah. Of course, folks, as it is to be said, this takes a few liberties with the Greek.
In fact, I would like to get this out of the way right now. A lot of people like to hate on this movie because, this is not an accurate representation of Greek mythology, and it's a comedy. It's not meant to be. This is, and this opening makes it pretty clear. The movie literally just told. Go ahead.
To be honest, it's not even that much far out. We only had to kind of censor or just not talk about the most gruesome stuff. The only major thing they work maybe were the Titans, or making them just representation of the elements instead of, the fathers and mothers of the gods. But that's pretty much it. A lot of things are still kept intact from what they were.
So basically what you're telling me, Tim, is that even that complaint doesn't hold any water.
The main difference, I guess, is there is a bit difference, though. It's ironically, in the original continuity, it's more so the gods that are more bad guys than the Titans.
Long story, but essentially the Greeks were having a concept of theology where the gods were more similar to them.
Wait a minute. We're in ancient Greece. Why doesn't anyone have a Scottish accent? 300 told me everyone in Greece has a Scottish accent.
Anyway, like I was mentioning...
You should never believe Frank Miller. Go ahead.
Yeah, they got Geralt Scarfe for anime, for basically creating the major art style. In case you don't know, he's the guy who worked for Pink Floyd's The Wall.
That's pretty fucking cool. That's because Theo, Ron, and John are huge Pink Floyd fans.
But that's the thing. The style fits because it's actually accurate to what was represented on the pots and the vases or vases, whatever you pronounce them.
Yeah. By the way, I love the orchestral cue that's about to come in when the title.
Hercules.
There you go, roll credits.
Yeah. One of the things that I love most about Alan Menken is that he can basically do any genre of music and excel at it. Like this, he does gospel here. He did Carmina Burana in the previous movie, like Tail said, Hunchback of Notre Dame. He did 60s style of rock in Tangled. He...
don't even get me started on the Captain America tune that he made.
Yeah, like he can basically do anything. And this was a pretty interesting decision that he took, because like, let's do gospel, and it works in my opinion for the kind of movie that they're trying to make anyway. So
that is by the way,
we're going for the whole they're gods, so therefore they all glow and probably.
Okay, here's
and
one thing.
And we'll probably blind everyone who watches them.
Here's one thing they change mostly, I guess, for the better. Hera is not exactly the most charming of the deity, especially in regards to Hercules, but for the sake of the story, they try to avoid that. Also, Narcissus.
Also puns.
That's actually a funny thing. See, Disney have this trend where they'll take, a story, and then afterwards, people will kind of recognize the Disney version. And this was no exception, seeing as how after this, a lot of adaptations of Greek mythology had Hera be less villainistic than she is.
Not to mention, there are plenty of other popular forms of media that teach the actual mythology as it is, like God of War, for example.
Not to mention, Pedro, let's just say that who they chose to replace kinda her as the antagonistic figure, they did such a majestic job that you just don't care.
True, yeah.
All right, and here's Pegasus. There you go. Pegasus was literally created from the clouds by Zeus.
Heck, even DC Comics faults it.
MLB The Origins.
More of a deadpan snarker than an actual bad guy who tries to kill.
Hey, don't kill. Don't kill your gift, they just bored, you little prick.
I know, this is a very violent baby.
Well, it's Hercules.
He doesn't know his own strength.
gods.
He is the god of strength or something like that, so...
Here's
or something like that.
In the title
Not properly, let's just say that it's a bit more complicated, but in a sense that
it
represents something else.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the funniest villains in Disney history. Played by James Woods.
Quite arguably the real protagonist of the movie when you think about it.
Go figure.
Not just that, also they actually designed the character's facial expression
around James based it.
Well,
fun fact, James Woods loves this. Fun fact, James Woods has actually said himself that this is his favorite character that he's ever played, and he's always willing to return, even when there's technically not much money in it for him. Like he was in the animated series, he was in all the video games, the Kingdom Hearts series.
He even voiced him in Japanese.
They've never had to replace him as 80s because he's always willing to play the character again, no matter what kind of media it is. He loves the character that much.
Here's the supposed big elephant in the room that you can argue is that in the original mythology, Hades was not properly a bad guy. He was just a guy with a shitty job. And you can tell that, but you have to remember that...
He did
still do work yourself to death. Ha ha ha.
Yes.
Oh wait, I love this line.
It also fits. Zeus was a dick in all contexts.
If only.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. His response. If only, Dwips. If only.
Basically, this idea of Hades being more like a villainous figure as something that, as time passed, especially in the Middle Ages, Christianity promoted for the sake of making a more clear concept similar to the Christian devil.
So we're on the River Styx now.
Oh, what a cute puppy!
Yeah,
Hi, Cerberus.
Isn't it adorable?
Yeah.
Wow, it's a Cerberus with three heads.
The design is pretty cool.
Yes, get it, Dr. Eggman. That's how you make.
Those dogs are so lethal. They managed to. They weren't able to eat that piece of meat. They were able to stretch it out.
Yeah.
Oh, the
comedy relief character. Can you tell me who...
Bobcat Goldthwait, and I forgot the other. Basically, for those who don't know... For those who don't know, Bobcat Goldthwait was a famous comedian back in the 90s. As for the other guy, I forgot his name.
They're not exactly the highlight of a comedy of a movie, but they're not much.
They're serviceable. Like they're mostly used as.
I'll take them over the cargoes in Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Anyway,
I agree.
Anyway, to answer your question, Pedro, the fat one's named Pain, the other one's Panic.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying I don't remember who played the other one. I know that Bobcat Goldthwait played one of them. But here are the fates.
Basically, Shiroi, the life of all of us is controlled by a string for each of us. So when it gets cut, it's game over.
Yeah. Hopefully no one runs around with scissors then.
It's like, it's one of those things where, the Agony and Panic are mostly just there so that 80s has someone to beat the crap out of, basically. They're more like an extension of 80s' dark humor, basically.
To be fair, they do serve a certain purpose. They can do certain things that Hades wouldn't want the other gods to know he's in on.
Yeah.
Since, they're demons.
Well, considering Hades acts more like a used car salesman / mafia boss, it makes sense.
And by the way, guys, 80s in this movie is very hot-headed, both literally and figuratively. There you go.
Yes, from anger issue.
Yeah. You know, the ironic thing is that actually blue flames are hotter than red flames, and yet...
Yeah.
So it's because visually it works better to do it
and also
in
it makes
reverse.
sense to because red, in this case, red represents losing calm, and is in this case having a flame that's not more effective than previously. But
I get it. I just find it funny, though.
Yes, Disney is actually showing you an organ being passed on by other people.
Like a football.
You.
Alright, basically what's happening is he asked them, since they can see the future, he asked them, okay, is the kid, Hercules going to be a problem for my plan to take over Olympus?
That's because, he wants to, you guessed it, take over Olympus.
Yeah, when the planets align.
I think you mean Olympus, not Atlantis, Pedro.
That's why I did not say Olympus.
That's why
Different locations entirely.
Regardless, whatever. The point is...
Well, someone's getting the Ron Clements and John Musker movies mixed up.
I love Ron Clements and John Musker. The only film of them that I didn't care much for was The Little Mermaid, really. Everything else I really love. So
wasn't that their first film?
No. Actually, before Little Mermaid, they made the Mouse Detective, The Great Mouse Detective. Sorry.
Wow.
Of course. Yeah.
Should Hercules fight? So yeah, basically, if Hercules fights, he will fail. That's basically just of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm cool. I'm fine.
In case you wonder, there are a lot of reaction images based on that, and it works.
No, there are so many reaction gifs from this movie alone.
80s and 80s
like to
in
this one character,
Yeah.
So basically, how do we kill a god? You can't. So we're gonna make him mortal. Then we'll kill him.
Yep.
Don't be silly. Don't
there
be
you
silly.
go. Also, kind of Fantasia reference, sort of. Maybe.
Don't be
Also,
silly.
Greek mythology, the god who brings the night.
Do it the way Loki did. Manipulate him into doing something stupid that'll get him banished and then turned mortal.
Different. His father's not as much a hard-headed as Zeus's father.
Well, if it were voiced by Anthony Hopkins, then they would definitely be
That's
more
synthesized snoring.
Also, speaking of facial stuff, you can also tell that Zeus is based off of John Goodman. Because, for some reason, John Goodman just has a tendency to end up playing bearded white men. Like, he's played Santa Claus no less than 3 times. Once in Futurama, once in The Year Without Santa Claus, and even once in a Rudolph movie.
No.
And he probably has done it other times.
Didn't he also he was live action, but he had like a white beard in 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Yes.
Of course.
There we go.
Yep.
And they mean it.
Unfortunately, there was one last drop.
They missed a bit.
They missed it. Which means he retains his strength still.
Yeah.
Well, my guess is they couldn't afford to keep the glowy budget.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing. When it comes to coming up with the orchestral score for this movie, Alan Menken said that he wanted something heroic like Superman and stuff like that, which makes sense considering this particular part of the story is very Superman-esque.
And also
it's
the fact
literally
that,
the journey of becoming a true hero.
Yeah. I think that has been mentioned constantly that comic book superheroes are kind of an evolution of all Greek mythos, and the Tales of Superman actually reflects this.
True.
How cute.
Oh, how adorable. Fun fact, the blue one is Panic, right?
Yes.
The Panic is in the Portuguese dub is voiced by an actor who's a reoccurring Disney actor. He voiced Timon. He voiced the guy who tells a story in Hunchback. I forgot his name. Clopin. That's it. Clopin. Like he was a lot of Disney characters. So and he's immediately recognizable. So he's very good at comic relief stuff. Anyway.
Hang on a minute. Doesn't Hades have an all-seeing eye he can use?
No, he doesn't. That was the Fates.
Well, you could just ask the Fates. Excuse me, I think my henchmen are lying to me. Could you lend me your eye?
Let's just say he kind of used up his favor asking them for the future, which is often a big no-no for them.
He's Hades. You should tell him, give me the eye now or I'll kill your family.
Rule number 1 of Greek mythology, don't cross the Fates, no matter who you are.
He's Hades. What does he care?
No, trust me, Dweebs. Even he knows you don't mess with the Fates, hence why he had to sweet-talk them into revealing the future.
Anyway, yeah, the gospel.
It's not even asking for much. It's just asking what was about his henchmen.
Again, Dweebs, revealing the future.
No, we're home on the range.
No. Fortunately, we're not. Don't worry.
But yeah, speak about what you were saying earlier, Dweebs. So while Little Mermaid was not the studio's first movie, Little Mermaid was the start of the Disney Renaissance, which housed movies like this in Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. Which definitely helped Disney get back in the spotlight. Fun fact, actually, despite the negative reception this movie got from people who were big buffs and, well, people who were kind of racist against the singers.
Also, yeah. Oh, sorry.
This actually did end up getting an overall positive reception. And over time, a lot of elements would be taken from this into other ones. Like, more often you'd see Hercules actually being the son of Zeus and Hera as opposed to being the son of Zeus and some random human girl.
Anyway, yeah, in case you wonder, Josh Keaton voices young Hercules.
Makes sense.
Wow. How fitting.
Yeah.
He has the tendency for voicing heroes until now where
Especially
he voices Norman Osborn for some reason.
And who's voicing older Hercules?
I forgot his name. Sean something, I think.
Tate Donovan.
That's it, yeah.
Tate Donovan. And I guess he does the Kingdom Hearts as well.
Not in the first not in the first game, but he's
wasn't Hercules in the first game actually voiced by Sean Austin?
I think so, yeah. But in the second game, they actually got the correct actor. Yes.
What a bizarre casting choice.
He sounded fine, honestly, if you ask me.
Job,
I forgot. Did Josh Keaton reprise this role in Birth by Sleep?
Yes, I can tell you that.
Okay then.
It makes sense.
That's a nice attention to detail,
video
actually.
games also, so.
Mm-hmm.
Ow.
Okay. I know the Hercules is strong, but how strong is that frisbee to have carried him all the way to that pillar?
Physics, a bitch.
Oh.
Also, yeah.
Speaking of physics.
1997 CGI, and it aged better than a lot of them at the same time.
Yeah, it looks fine if you ask me.
CGI like this works because it's definitely more epic.
Well, we're not even 20 minutes in, and already he's toppled all of the town.
He's a very klutz of a superhero, basically.
So this is what I'd be like if I were a superhero. Wreck everything and be loved by no one and hated by all.
Don't worry, Bo, the area was evacuated.
Actually, it wasn't.
Then explain what they're doing here, then.
Fortunately, everybody ran away and nobody got hurt, basically. Not to mention cartoon logic, as you're seeing right now.
As for their material possessions...
He's a menace to society!
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, just like some Tales of Superman.
And just like how Josh Keaton would go on to voice Spider-Man.
Well, it's more subtle than the it's more subtle than that part in the X-Men.
Rubble, I need pictures of Spider-Man.
I gotta say, guys, it's more subtle than that episode of the X-Men cartoon.
Which episode? And to be fair,
the one where one of the characters just screams, "I'm normal, I'm normal."
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Dwebs on that one. That was one of the lesser moments of that cartoon.
Was that from the '90s show?
Yeah, the '90s cartoon. Yeah.
Ah.
Don't get me wrong, that was a great cartoon, but it did have its lesser moments, let's say.
I mean, to be fair, it was essentially portraying racism, so it was definitely going to have some iffy moments, especially considering how they're trying to do that without directly referencing it.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, that is one of the reasons why this movie...
So yeah, Hercules feels maybe he belongs someplace else.
Yes, Jova?
Excuse me.
Yeah, speaking of which, that's one of the reasons this movie got flack back in the day, because people didn't like the fact that African-American women were singing for a strong Greek story. Yeah, that was a thing.
So yeah, even though he's not a Disney princess, he still has a I Want More song.
Well, his song is more so about, I just want to find out the truth, or...
I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know who does his singing voice, but man, can he sing.
Roger Bart.
That's it.
I've heard
Originally, Keaton also did the singing, but it was eventually decided to be re-recorded.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Josh Keaton does that much in terms of singing.
He can sing. Nowadays, he's pretty good at singing, but I'm guessing back then he wasn't the best.
Or the voice director just decided to do something else.
True, could be that.
It's kind of like with, for example, Scott... sorry. And here we have the turns out you're an alien son moment.
More like it also the fact that, you're adopted, like...
Sorry, we don't have a thing with an hologram to show you, but that's...
Don't worry, we'll get something just as good in a few minutes.
Yeah.
And you're actually not going to die in a Disney film, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, they will actually show up later on in a
montage. Let's just say they're gonna they themselves are gonna profit a lot from him getting back within the gods. Let's just say.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously though, I think this is like the first time in a long time that no Disney parent is dead or dies in a Disney film. And yeah, this song is freaking awesome.
It's mostly because of the guy Roger. Roger is a fantastic singer.
It also helps because this is a song that goes with the story, in a sense that there are basically 3 verses to this song, and of course a reprisal, which all helps. It's one of those cases where I'd say that having a song that blends in so well with the story, visuals, and narrative helps immensely. To the point where Dwibs isn't even complaining.
Well, actually, I think Dwibs is bird right now.
Yeah, he is.
I think so.
Okay, well, the fact that Tio's not complaining then.
Sorry, can you repeat briefly?
He means that this is a musical and you're not complaining. That's what he means.
Yes and no. Like I said, it's not a thing of racial. I just don't like gospels in general, whoever sings them. So it's the entire genre that just don't like. I don't mean in a sense that it may not fit. Honestly, it was just the direction they took for it, and they also have other singing what we just had, but at a more epic scale.
Okay.
To be fair, I would have the same reaction.
Yeah, +1 for a realistic reaction.
Think about it. This is the statue that you pray regularly. It's like going to the church and having Jesus step on the cross and telling you things. Like
a little chirpy. Which you now probably broke.
Yeah.
Remember, Shuri, he's Hercules. He's terrible. Hey, at least it's not a parent that gives incredibly cryptic and vague
We're having a Disney movie where a father is having the talk with his son.
So what's going on now?
Basically, he's meeting his real father, Zeus.
Yeah.
Although, unfortunately, because he drank a lot of that potion, he's not really a god, and only gods can live in Olympus.
But in true Disney fashion, there's a clause that can be exploited.
Which, to be fair, was kind of also a clause in the original tales.
It was more, in that case, in the original myth, it was more like...
a challenge.
A challenge in itself. Here is just a thing that's been made a bit more convenient for the sake of the narrative structure.
So yeah, he has to search Philoctetes.
Yeah.
Who's voicing Zeus?
John
Goodman.
Yeah.
Also, the
John
way the end movement and the way he moved Hercules, it kind of remind me of Willie the Giant interacts with Scrooge in the Christmas Carol Disney version.
Of course, Pegasus still remembers that headbutting ritual.
Speaking of John Goodman, he was Patsu in Emperor's New Groove. But one thing that was a bit odd, he didn't voice him for the first half of the TV show, Emperor's New School, but then he came back in the second half.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah, he was busy.
And scheduling.
Oh, well. I don't know, how many story writers were there in this film?
A bit.
I'm going to
You
count
sound
them.
bewildered, Dwibs.
2, 3, 4.
That's not at all
5, 6.
surprising. That's common in Disney movies, Dwebs. I mean, Zootopia had like 7 story writers.
I mean, it makes sense also. Usually, the way it works is often they have writers centered around different quadrants, but in a way that's connected. At least that's how it was for the Disney Golden Renaissance. Because remember, before the Renaissance, Disney was not doing that well, so they kind of changed up their tactics, starting with...
Zeus is actually voiced by Rip Torn.
What? In the movie or the show?
The movie.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not John Goodman from that voice.
That sounds exactly like John Goodman.
It's Rip Torn, Joe.
So wait, so John Goodman just voices him in the show?
Maybe I don't know.
Well, Dwibs himself said that John Goodman can... Oh, wait, no.
Guess who voices... Oh, fun fact. In the Swedish dub of this film, Zeus is voiced by Max von Sydow.
Names.
Who?
He was the High Judge in Judge Dredd, and he was the guy who Poe Dameron spoke to at the beginning of Force Awakens.
There's one guy whose voice actor I once
This also
grew up.
feels a lot like a Fantasia reference of sorts.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is Phil, played by Danny DeVito.
Probably this probably the second best character in the entire movie. I don't know why they decided to do this kind of direction, but it fits. Well, the idea of the base is that it's the same character that Burgess Meredith played in the Rocky movies. The retired trainer that has to, made a star out of someone from the get-go.
It makes sense because, a lot of their style changes from Aladdin carry over to the point where, literally the horses that show up in here are the same horses from the Greek scene during I Will Show You the World's carpet scene in Aladdin. And, to the point where the two shows ended up crossing over on a frequent basis. My guess is that, Danny DeVito as, Phil here, traditionally the satyr who would train the best of heroes in Greek mythology, to be the more comedic, modern take,
Also, horse ass.
Before that became such a meme it is nowadays.
Yeah. And now some fan service for those who actually knows about Greek mythos.
Oh, during its debut weekend, it came second behind Face Off in the box office.
Yeah, that was back in the day when Face Off had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes because it was apparently a work of genius, one that would boost John Woo's ego and love of doves.
Wait! It was a work of genius.
It got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes back in the day, Dwibs. That was rare. It still is. Elvis. Yeah, Achilles kind of had a problem with his heel.
Yeah.
And even the statue breaks down by touching the heel.
That statue is...
Well, Shiroi, that's the most accurately statue representation of a person I've ever seen.
Where did that say? where did that phrase come from? Did he die from being stabbed in the heel or something?
Yeah.
It took an arrow to the heel. There you go.
Here's the thing: he was invincible everywhere but his heel.
That's because when he was a kid, he was immersed in a fountain that granted immortality, but he needed to be kept by something. So who kept him from the heel? And
his mother forgot to dip the heel in.
Yeah.
So why didn't he?
UFO.
So why didn't he like put like a steel around his heel or something?
It was for the sake of narrative, Dweebs.
He also didn't know about that.
And that's the first instance of a UFO sighting in this universe.
I'll explain more when we commentate on the movie Troy.
Anyway, I can see where Phil's coming.
God throws UFO.
Anyway, I can see where Phil's coming from, though. I mean, the poor guy. I mean, Greek is known for its tragedy. Like, even the best of heroes eventually die a gruesome death. Like, I can see why the guy's pessimistic about the deal. And heck, I'm an optimist. Okay, I love how this song starts off. Ow.
You're not really the best
these
person.
Lyrics coming up.
Yeah, another gimmick with Phil is that another thing with Phil is that he cannot do math to save his life because he'll always say, "Okay, 3 words, kid," and then he'll say 2 words or.
Yes, Shiroi.
I was going to say, actually, that's apparently to do with the translation joke.
The translation joke?
Yeah.
Although, the sad thing is, like, right there, he was about to get it right with 2 words, but then Zeus intervened, and it's just 1 word.
What do you mean, translation joke?
Right?
Well, in the original language, he's counting correctly, apparently.
Wait. In the original
but
what?
It's an in-joke.
In the original what, though?
They're talking about Greek.
Wait, I get it. So you're saying that in the Greek localization of the he actually gets the numbers right?
No, I mean, if this were to be translated into Greek, the numbers would be correct.
Oh. Hey, that's a nice little detail.
Hey, nice egg.
How do you like that?
Rule number 6. I love the rules. Listen here. Okay. So that's rule number 6. I love this one here. That's coming up.
Also, that poor doll.
Okay, concentrate. And here's the punchline. So yeah, rule number 5, concentrate. Rule number 96, aim.
Hey, save the ball.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That poor hostage.
Hercules is kind of crap at his job.
Well,
he's got to start somewhere, Dweebs.
Much like in any training, also Karate Kid reference. Much like in any training, Dweebs, you don't get results immediately.
Yeah, like this is pretty much going over a span of years.
That's why we have a training montage.
Of course.
Gonna need a montage.
And now he's older and more muscular.
Wow, Total Wipeout got buff.
You see, Dweebs, it's the magic of a 90s montage.
Yeah.
Is that Danny DeVito doing the singing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Danny DeVito can definitely sing.
Remember, have you seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No.
You should.
I have.
Basically, It's Sunny in Philadelphia is a Seinfeld on crack. Literally.
And Danny DeVito does a lot of things there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Herc thinks he's ready. So it's time to finally.
He needs a real test.
Anyway, as I wanted to say, Phil is in no right to judge people considering he acts like that parent who's trying to live their dreams through their child.
Well, Shiroi, he's had so many heroes die horribly and fail. I think I can see why he's a bit eager.
Stock sound effect.
DID. Okay.
Damsel in distress.
If you're going to say the acronym, why say the...
Okay, funny story. This is Nessus. In the original mythos, he's the one who killed eventually Hercules.
Wait, he is? I thought it was Cerberus that kills Hercules.
With a poison arrow.
I could have sworn it was Cerberus that kills
it was
Hercules.
him.
So you're saying that Cerberus was just the fall guy?
So basically, we're doing we're doing a thing where Hercules gets his revenge or something like that.
For his first challenge, yeah. Also, it's Jim Cummings voicing him, right?
I wouldn't be
Also,
surprised.
I noticed only now he has a butt front.
Oh, let's see.
Dang. So what you're telling me, too, is like, well, the original 12 Tales of Hercules got retconned by a later tale that revealed that it was a centaur that killed Hercules?
But I don't know what to tell you, Jova. That's what it's always been taught.
So the Greeks retconned their own mythology, even though supposedly that was what was told to them by the gods.
This is
I don't know.
embarrassing for
Maybe
everyone
some
involved.
translations will change the versions.
That's a good idea.
But I don't want to use. Oh wait, that's for a later
Not
movie.
literally.
Well, if it works.
Improvisation works.
Fun fact, that line that Phil just said, okay, not bad, kid. Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad. That's a line that you hear a lot in the first level of the PS1 game. The PS1 game of this was actually one of the better Disney video games. It was really good.
That is one thing I'll give Disney. It's like, well, pretty much a lot of stuff involving the Renaissance was good. Like, the video game adaptations were pretty solid for the most part.
Didn't Traveler's Tales do that one?
No, it did. It was Eurocom.
Traveler's Tales was doing the Toy Story games back then.
Hey, they're both British developers, so yay!
Yeah, that was definitely Jim Cummings.
He punched in the face so hard that the horseshoe somehow came off. Yeah, fun fact, this defeating animation is perfectly recreated with the sprite in the boss battle in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sprite, wasn't this a PS1 game?
Yeah, but it was a 2D sprite game.
The 3D models were used mostly for environmental purposes.
He used hand-drawn sprites, much like a Way Forward game, basically.
A PS1 game using hand-drawn sprites.
Well, that's exactly the point.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Outside of Mega Man, that's pretty rare.
Dude, there were a lot of PlayStation games that did that.
You commented with us on Legend of Mana, come on.
It was mostly because the developers,
anyway,
I'm guessing, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's Susan Egan voicing Meg. I don't know exactly who she is.
Mother Gothel.
No, actually, no. Mother Gothel was voiced by Lana Murphy. So.
Oh God, I thought she was related to Megan.
Oh, she voiced Rose Quartz in Steven Universe.
However,
right, that's what I've heard.
However, Jova, you do get a credit for getting it right if you lived in Portugal, because the actress.
Oh, that's where I've heard that they were the same.
Because the actress who played Megan here also went on to play Mother Gothel, so there's that.
The two seems
so she went on. So basically, she went on to voice a manipulative bird. Oh wait, that's from the bad guy's point of view. Never mind.
So Rose Quartz, eh? Well, it makes sense. She was alive for long enough.
No, it's because Jova, that actress that I just mentioned, whenever Disney Portugal has a character like Megan, or like a female character who's like not so much like a Disney person, more like a more savvy or more, seductive character or something like that, they always get that actress because she specializes in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I used to think that she and Mother Gothel had the same voice too, because they're so similar in character design as well. Oh, goody feed. City of Endless Disaster.
Yeah. Surprised they didn't show something more.
However, there's one thing about Megan here that we don't know.
Let's wait and see. Oh, suddenly the trees became spooky and scary, and hi, Bambi.
Bambi reference.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah, a bit of backstory on this. See, back in the day, this is when people kind of consider Bambi the, shall we say, sappy Disney of the time. Again, remember, this was Disney Renaissance. Think about it in a case like modern Disney versus classic Disney. Heck, there's even a point.
She's working with Hades.
Yeah, she has a reason.
Not so much that,
gonna...
Jova. Not Jova, sorry. See, the thing is, Dwibs, her soul belongs to Hades. We're gonna explain later how that came to be.
And why.
But yeah, basically Disney Renaissance was so big that not only were Disney taking pot shots at their older movies, they even considered making
Wonder Boy.
some of them.
Oh shit. Basically, Dwibs, she literally sold her soul to the, well, not the devil, but the Lord of the Dead.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What was that name again?
Yeah. Also, the reason why she was actually captured by Nessus Death was because she was actually doing some diplomacy in Hades' place. Yeah.
I love that line. Oh my gods!
You know, I play a lawyer in another show. I'm seeing a contradiction here.
Yeah, he does actually.
Yeah.
A prosecutor specifically. So I guess it wouldn't work with the contradiction thing, since that's for defense attorneys.
Nah. Prosecutors also do that as of investigations.
I guess, yeah.
And you just burned down Bambi's forest somewhere in time.
Global warming was because of Hades.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy. You can tell it's a town with trouble because they have a constantly gray sky.
Yeah.
It's either red sky or gray sky if you want to portray a town in trouble.
But anyway, discount New York, essentially. Complete with graffiti.
Don't flash me, please.
And people flashing other people.
They mixed the flasher with someone who wants to sell you cheap
salesman.
stuff. Yeah. Surprised there's no
Italian
one doing the trick
salesman.
of a free card.
I love that. I love that message right there in the stairs. Trust nobody.
Also, I love how one of the lines literally says, Finn, hi Atlas.
Yeah.
Hey Atlas, I'm not looking forward to you
So-
becoming a boring boss in Final Fantasy 13 too.
So yeah, this city is terrible because apparently we're victims of disgraces like every week.
And disasters.
Like 4 guys.
Let's see, crime rates, floods,
So this is the Greek
volcanoes.
equivalent. Well, you just mentioned crime rate as well. So I'm guessing this is the Greek equivalent of Gotham City, I guess.
Sorta.
Ah.
No. I think locusts are more Egypt thing.
Not you. You wrecked our town.
Also, that
it wasn't
capital
this.
is different.
It wasn't this town, Dwibs.
Yeah, that was a different one. With
No, we moved to this town because you wrecked our last one.
I'm kind of starting out.
You don't have enough experience. You're not tired.
I'm kind of an upstart, so
Yeah. You're fired.
Oh,
Fuck
boy.
off.
Oops.
One thing I've wondered. I wonder why Disney haven't done like limited re-releases of the Renaissance era films.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
He means theatrical re-releases.
Oh, give it some time. They'll probably do it eventually. I mean, they already have done some with Lion King. And I think they did one with Beauty and the Beast animated.
That's the thing is, Dwibs, they only do that for their most popular ones. So it can be. For example, I'm pretty sure they'll never do it for Hunchback, for example. Because that movie most likely will piss off a lot of parents nowadays.
Or other films like Black Cauldron and all that.
Yeah.
Black Cauldron was just Black Cauldron was.
It was a thing that happened.
Honestly, the reason they probably won't reshow Hunchback isn't because people would hate it. It's because it was a flop back in the day.
Not just that, Joe. Like I said, I'm pretty sure a lot of soccer moms would get pissed off if they saw the dark imagery in that movie.
Yeah, except Disney don't really play by those rules anyway nowadays. If like the recent releases aren't even to go by. Trust me, Pedro.
True.
It's all about.
Anyway,
the money,
opportunity for hero work, I guess.
Yeah. All right, Jova, I know you want to, so by all means, do the reference when it shows up. It's inevitable.
Did you like it?
It's inevitable, so by all means, do it.
I mean, I don't want to, but sure, might as well.
Dweebs, your taste for CGI will be tested in a second.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think Hydra looks fine, honestly. I mean, obviously you can tell it's...
I'm not asking you, Pedro.
Let's wait till we get to it.
Oh, have you not seen this movie, Dwips?
No.
No,
Okay.
Basically, there's times where I keep getting the TV show and the movie confused.
Right. No, I didn't realize you had.
The TV show was okay-ish, more like it wasn't.
I like the TV show.
It was okay, but it was definitely no Tangled series or anything like that.
I don't think that's really being too fair, seeing as how Tangled has the advantage that it's directly tied to the movie.
Plus, that was around the time where no one really expected.
Well, the show was basically an interquel.
Wait, what? No.
As in, it took place when he was a teenager, basically.
No. The show for Hercules takes place after the movie.
It does.
They're shapeshifters.
I mean, he literally dresses the way he does nowadays, and he even has his...
that, but well.
Actually, isn't it set in the second montage during the period where Hades throws everything at him?
No. It's literally
anyway,
after the movie.
Let's talk for another time because it's now probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yay.
Oh boy.
This entire sequence.
It's not a Greek mythos without a giant monster out of nowhere.
And I gotta say, the CGI is actually...
Also, this thing looks awful. I'm sorry.
I think it looks okay. For 1997, it looks fine. It could look a lot worse than this, honestly.
No. I'm pretty sure there were Disney films that came out before this point that had better CGI.
True, but this is a full-blown CGI monster, so obviously it would be a bit harder to age.
I honestly think the CGI here works just fine because it's a blend of 2D animation. It's kind of cel-shaded in a sense. I mean, it fits with the animation style. I've never really had an issue with it. Heck, to the point where it looks just fine even in Kingdom Hearts.
All right, speaking of that, Jova, go ahead. I know you want to.
No, not yet. There's going to be a more fitting moment for it.
It doesn't really mesh well.
Yeah, I think it meshes fine, honestly. Like I said, I've seen a lot worse from movies of this era.
And I think it actually.
Just because you've seen a lot worse doesn't exactly make this any good.
I think it looks legit good and fits well with it. Also,
so what's going to happen now?
Well, take a wild guess. Men in Black.
There you go.
Don't worry, though.
Yes, even
that was half their budget.
Don't worry.
A Disney movie with blood and gore in it.
Remember the golden rule, Tio.
But don't you see, Teo? The blood is green, therefore it's fine.
No. It has to be black smoke because Square Enix wants to be subdued.
Actually, to be fair, those green juices are digestive juices.
Still, that was very progressive.
It's
Remember,
like in Splatoon where they actually got
here's the problem. If you know the mythos, you already know where this is going. But in this case, Weebs, cutting heads for killing an Hydra is not the best method.
Every time you kill an Hydra's head, it grows two more.
Three pops up.
Also, remember the golden rule, Tio. So long as there's no red blood, it's A-okay.
Yes.
For kids, anyway. I mean, hey, that's how they got Jada to be in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Just dance a bunch of purple.
All right, Jova, anytime now.
Not yet. Don't worry, Pedro. I know just the right moment to.
Okay, then. Yeah.
Please.
Why don't you just try getting up on the Hydra's back instead?
There you go.
For those who don't know, that is one of the most spammed lines ever. And yes, he's now pretty much on the Hydra's back within a mountain of heads. But yes, in Kingdom Hearts 2, Phil is constantly telling you to get up on the Never Regions part of a Hydra that is on its back side.
I heard part of the game. There you go. a fighting game joke.
What is this, WWE Greek version?
Well, it make
He's been cut in half.
well, it would make sense considering coliseums and shit like that were very common in this age.
Oh yeah. Wrestling sort of originated.
It's kind of like how the Asterix CGI movie also does wrestling jokes in the Roman Colosseum.
Obviously, game over.
And a cigar.
And now a tennis joke.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, game set and match is a thing we use for pretty much almost all games anyway. Just game set and match is originally used for tennis.
And here's another GIF incoming.
Yeah.
In fact, Teo used it recently in a conversation with us. So
It's serviceable.
It is.
Also, another nice touch was how the reaction of the crowd changes, but the shot remained the same.
Exactly.
here we go.
Landslide.
Oh dear. And that GIF was also used by Tia recently as well.
That's what.
Yeah.
Actually, that was the one I was talking about. So
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a different one.
The
Don't
content.
worry, Chiri. Anyway, time for
And
another
here is my
montage.
favorite song in the movie.
same. This is my favorite song as well.
Yeah.
This song is actually entirely in full in the game as well. They actually have this entire montage in the game.
And I think that they also used this song for the theme of the TV show opening or something. I'm trying to remember.
Or a variation of it.
From Zero to Hero is often regarded as kind of the main theme of of Hercules, kind of.
And now we're seeing pretty much the 12 Tales of Hercules here. And
Yeah,
there,
at least the major ones. Well, to be fair, Joe, I don't even know how they could have actually shown him cleaning the stables from the shit. So
Did Hercules get one of them direct-to-DVD sequels?
Oh, here you go.
no, thank goodness, no, Dweebs.
This montage also takes advantage of it to do a little bit of satire of celebrity culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I forget who
American
voices the
Express.
muses.
Yeah,
Check.
and pay attention because there's also going to be a specific moment in this montage that shows off shows a payoff for Hercules' human
Oh,
parents. The
Merchandising.
Hercules store, yeah, merchandising. Of course.
Of course, the serpent.
He basically bought that thing just to melt it. What a waste.
That's a chess motif, Dweebs.
Hercules.
Hercules.
Oh, what would have been awesome? What if, like, Hercules himself hides behind
Herculate.
Hercules back to
There
disguise
you go.
There
The parents have been now have it going because they have a celebrity
And the
son.
golden card. Yeah.
Heir Urk. Get it? Heir Urk. Fun fact, one of those three monsters that just fell, that's a boss in
Actually, this actually also the Minotaur you face in the
yeah, the
previous
Minotaur.
level.
Oh yeah, the Minotaur as well, you're right.
And then there's the Medusa one that's for itself.
The Medusa, yeah.
Also, yeah, Walk of
Hollywood.
Fame, sort of Walk of Fame reference.
Yeah.
So Herc's pretty much on top of the world, much to the anguish of Hades.
Someone's angry.
I told you, kill him.
You need a psychologist. Dude. Take from Aku. He usually does about session.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah. They're
Look at
sneakers.
those! I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
You might want to run away.
Hold on.
Wait for it.
Just leave it be. Just leave it be.
Just ignore that.
So, obviously, it's time for a change of strategy. There we go.
Wow, that face.
By the way, he kinda does the same thing to Aqua in Verbe's Leap. You get a clear shot of him staring at her boobs.
All I gotta do now is shatter your gem and you will be destroyed. Oh, wait.
There you go. There you go. This is her backstory. He's gonna tell her backstory in a moment.
Oh, yeah, the Trojans and the horse.
Yeah. Myth references. Anyway. Here you go.
Apparently, Jessica Rabbit.
You know, there should be a support group between this and Madoka Magica for girls who do that.
So there you go, dude. She's sworn off men after what happened. However, 80's an offer for her.
This is actually also another interesting way to tackle an abusive relationship without being an abusing romantic relationship.
Also, much like Rose Quartz, Meg got here due to terrible life choices.
However, if she manages to help 80's take down Hercules, 80's will free her from her chains of sorts.
So, let's see. We have Rose Quartz as Meg. We have Blue Diamond as the mother from Song of the Sea. And we have and we have Nana Fuye as Mrs. Beakley in the DuckTales reboot. Okay. And meanwhile, Ruby's a patient on House.
No, she was the doctor on House.
Really? A fiery-tempered doctor at that?
Yeah. She was one of the main doctor characters in season 8.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised she didn't kill anyone.
Congrats, Herc. You've been objectified.
But she punched someone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I must go back to my mortal self and run Will Smith's ass. And then be replaced in the third film because my actor got involved in real life trouble.
Happens.
Yeah. But hey, as replacements...
hold on. We're going to get another reference, not to a Disney movie this time, in a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, to both A Struggle of Hercules and Hi, Scar!
Yeah.
There you go. Apparently, after Scar died, he somehow, his fur somehow came into Greece.
Here's what happened. Scar died, but he got reincarnated as the Namekian lion, which Hercules has to slay, who now is the invincible coat.
Jesus.
Krusty?
It's funny, because, that's actually a Simpsons reference.
Yeah. Well, remember this is from the guys who gave us Aladdin, so...
And yet later Disney would buy The Simpsons.
Ironic.
Which was foreshadowed by The Simpsons themselves in an episode of The Simpsons.
Remember, guys, the deal's not officially done yet.
We'll see.
It'll pass through.
We'll see.
Eventually.
For now, let's just...
Really, Joe, with the government in charge at the moment.
It's Disney, Dwibs.
Oh, God, no,
fangirls.
Oh, no, the wave of estrogen!
Jesus Christ.
Get them out of here.
Plan Beta, ha.
Well, it's one way. Yep, so there you go. If ever you have a bunch of fangirls on your ass, just get Danny DeVito or whistle them away.
Oh, he's good at that.
I know you're there, Stephen. I mean, Hercules.
Yeah. sucks.
What about the wheel, though? No, seriously, the wheel was like the big hot topic of the day.
Ah.
Oh my god, that's the MLP sound effect.
Yeah.
It's the squeeze sound effect.
Didn't
probably just
one of the voice
it's a
actors
stock
from
sound
this
effect.
movie also show up in MLP FIM Shiroi?
Sorry?
Isn't there a voice actor from this movie who's also in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic?
I actually wouldn't know.
Let me check.
I mean, they've gotten so many voice actors.
They got William Shatner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Oedipus.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. Anyway, no,
Let's
Jove, I
just
can tell you
say,
she was not
Oedipus, stay
invented.
away from my mother.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's sad because one thing that people forgot is also he was also the one who made famous of the riddle of the Sphinx. But yeah.
But of course, people remember him for
Well,
the whole...
for obvious reasons, Jove. I mean, it's a lesson that is being taught for that reason.
They had such a lovely child together.
Yeah.
He's not like Samson, honey. Samson from the biblical story who, if you cut his hair, became weak.
Yeah.
Rose, 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 Rose. You've got to treat humanity better than this.
Well, he isn't quite human, although she doesn't quite know that.
Oh, hold on. In joke now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you created the Venus of Milo.
Excellent.
How ironic, considering according to the Asterix movies, Obelix was the one who made that way.
This is what I love about Ron Clements and John Musker. They always their Disney movies always manage to have such a perfect blend of humor with the story.
They're at their best when they're doing stuff, that's in an otherwise serious element, but they had a comedic one again, which is what made Aladdin work so great. Like, okay, if there's a character you want to make be modern and stuff, of course, have it be the genie, the guy who has the powers who could probably peer into the future like that.
Like I've said, aside from me thinking that Little Mermaid is I've loved every other movie of theirs, Moana including.
I have also a special passion for Treasure Planet.
Me as well, yeah.
Mostly for personal reasons.
Sure.
Yeah. I can see why they were Little Mermaid.
Another
That was the
underappreciated
start of a whole
movie.
renaissance, so they probably were kept on a tighter leash.
I love
Little Mermaid.
I love all their movies like Princess and the Frog and Moana, including, of course, are also great.
They
movies
also did Princess and the Frog.
Bummer.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Tonight on Cops.
Well, makes sense, Joe. It was their return to hand-drawn animations. Who better than these two veterans who've made so many greats by this point? Were
they also behind 101 Dalmatians, perchance?
No. Joe, but 101 Dalmatians came out back in the 70s, was it? The first one? I forgot.
I'm pretty sure it came out in the 80s at
least. No. Ron Clements and John Musker, back then, when that movie was made, they were animators at the studio, not directors. Their first
1961, Jova.
Oh, even worse then. Their first. To give you an idea, Jova, they were animators on Fox and the Hound, and Great Mouse Detective was their debut as directors and writers, basically.
I only ask because, they had mentioned that the villain of Princess and the Frog was kind of like the love child of Captain Hook, Scar, and Cruella de Vil.
The basic gist of it is that Ron and John were animators who learned at CalArts from the 9 old men themselves.
Oh boy, it's time for another musical.
Oh, goody, this song. This was pretty much the song that actually told the usual Disney status quo to go stuff itself. Because this is literally a song about a girl thinking, am I really in love with this guy? And it's so cliche. No, that's actually one of the lyrics.
It also fits with Meg's backstory. Remember, according to what the backstory that is told there is essentially the typical Disney formula, if you think about it, similar to Snow White. Her loved one was dying. She did something to save him, but instead of an happy ending, reality ensued when another woman entered his life.
So this was Frozen before Frozen.
Oh,
Yeah.
hang on. Sorry, I had to burp for a bit, but let me guess what happened. She and Hercules were on a date, but she just broke off from him because reasons.
They got
Surprise!
cock-blocked.
No, yeah, we got cockblocked by Phil and Pegasus.
And the muses are basically being matchmakers here.
Surprising enough, the whole conflict that separates a couple before the climax is not really done in this movie. Not at least between Eric and Meg.
I mean, she even has song lyrics about how, oh, I just fall in love. That'd be too cliche.
Yeah.
Wait. So what's the song about?
The fact that she can't believe she's falling in love again.
Huh, so hang on, let me get this straight. Wait. She falls in... A character voiced by Susan Egan falls in love with someone she didn't expect to fall in love with. This is freaking Steven Universe.
Yep.
Except far less contrived, surprisingly.
Or rather, Steven Universe is referencing this, more like.
And far less tragic.
So, let's see. This and Legend of Mana fused together make Steven Universe.
Sure.
Ironic.
Sure, why not?
Oh, what a weird combo.
Wombo combo dweebs.
I just noticed.
A mostly forgettable game sequel mixed with a film that got popular more over time.
Symbolism, kind of.
By the way, Jova, that shalala thing that the muses were singing, is that a Little Mermaid reference? Because remember, Kiss the Girl also has that lyric.
It might be.
You.
Ha!
What's
Go fuck yourself in the ass.
I thought I was just going to say fuck off, and then I remember the end.
You're forgetting one tiny little detail.
Charming.
Yeah.
Well, he is right.
I wonder if James Woods is like this in real life, because of what we've heard about him recently.
You don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, trust me.
Yeah, let's just say, folks, he's a good voice actor, and that's his redeeming quality for being a terrible human being.
If you need to appreciate him, do it for the artistical value and nothing more.
Yeah.
I actually don't know much about him as a human being, so...
Pedophile!
It's best we leave it. I was just going to say, best we leave it.
Racist!
Point being, Phil heard the worst of the conversation. Oh, by the way, another thing that they extrapolate, this dialogue paints 80s pretty much as the sassy gay friend that they usually have.
He has no weaknesses, you say.
Uh-oh.
At 80s, put one together. I think he does.
One of the smarter villains that you'll see.
Yeah.
So hang on, what happens when the planets align?
The Titans will be freed.
Yeah.
Because
And we'll get one of the best jokes in the movie as well from that.
That's not your food.
After Moana, I really want to know what Ron and John are gonna do next, because I'm always looking forward to a new movie by this.
Wasn't there planned a movie based on Jack and the Beanstalk?
And didn't?
That was being done by Nathan Green, one of the directors of Tangled. That was not their project.
It's canned anyway.
Wait, they cancelled it?
Shelved it, more like. Basically, what happened is Ed Catmull said that the story was not working as well as they hoped, so they're which is something that Disney usually does. Remember, Walt Disney and his team were originally doing Little Mermaid themselves, but they shelved it because the story wasn't working as well as Walt wanted. And later, Nightmare Fuel. Anyway,
didn't Clement and Muskin additional directing help for Moana because they'd never done a CGI film?
Yes, they've never done a CGI film before Moana, no. But anyway, again, it's common for Disney to shelve projects only to bring them back later when a new director has an idea that even thinks might... I think I actually have an idea how this might work. So I'm pretty sure we'll see that project revived at some point in the future. Maybe later, maybe sooner, who knows. Oh crap, that lighting is really dark right now.
Yeah.
Fine. Fuck you then.
Did he? Didn't
you just hit Danny DeVito. Come on, dude.
You don't.
So hang on, what happened? Did he
Go sit
only
in
really
the corner.
Basically,
He
Phil was
doesn't
trying to
hear
warn
anything
him that Meg is working for Hades, but he didn't want to listen.
That's also the thing. Since Phil heard the worst part of the conversation, he thought about the worst. That's why he phrased badly the way he was saying to Eric.
And now Hades executes his best plan yet. There you go.
Yeah.
kill Hercules?
No, he's too strong for that, Dwibs. However, he does have another way of taking care of his problem. There you
go.
Temper.
Fun fact: in the Italian dub, is also this cursed cut short was Hades almost about going to say "son of a bitch."
Typical cartoon censorship, where they almost say a swear word, but they're interrupted.
But in Italian one, we were going for the extra mile for some reason.
Is Disney Italy more tolerable to that?
There's also the fact that a lot of swear words in the American culture are not that much here.
Yeah. Same thing here in Portugal, Dwibs, to give you an idea.
Like saying hell, we don't have that much of a problem.
Neither do we.
Anyway, like the good used car salesman that he is, Hades has an offer. Forgot the name of the actor.
So yeah,
in exchange for... You want to do a double take for that line?
So yeah, in exchange for Meg's freedom and safety, he must give up his strength for 24 hours. And without his strength, he cannot stop him. So...
I mean, come on, what could happen in a day?
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, it's either that or Meg's life, so...
Him having a strength taken is turned into Hercules in New York.
Don't worry, guys. It's just for 24 hours.
Yeah. Now, also another thing, in case you wonder for the authenticity, we say, oh, the deal with the devil thing was more for Christianity. There are a couple of Greek mythos where characters actually struck a deal with Hades, so it was pretty common.
That is the thing. Hades was never really outright the villain.
No, again, he was a guy with a shitty job.
He could be antagonistic, though, and to be fair, he did kind of take things out on poor Persephone.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Again, mythology. Yeah, Eric, you were playing like a damn fiddle.
Just to finish what I was...
It's a harp.
Just to finish what I was saying, I'm glad for that, because I'd rather them shelve it rather than deliver a half-assed product.
Sure.
Yeah, we're mocking the song now, aren't we?
Well, that's some transport.
Yeah.
It's what we call a dark reprisal.
Alright, now we're gonna get one of the best jokes in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. The
planet's aligned.
There you go. Now we can free the Titans. Alright, listen here, Dres. This is great.
More like very old uncles to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Destroy who? You weren't very specific.
So yeah, each Titan, in this case, each major Titan represents an element of some sort.
Yeah. And two of them went on to become boss battles in the Kingdom Hearts series.
Yeah. So yeah, with great presentation and everything. This is gonna be epic and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Completely with the music going out.
That mountain is kind of hard to, miss.
Yeah. How did you miss that?
Guys, Olympus would be that way.
You called it Atlantis again.
So I did.
That guy.
Mercury. Oh no, that's the Roman name, Hermes. There you go.
Okay.
I don't think. Okay, either I was burped or I don't think he's been in the movie yet.
He's been at the beginning, Dribs.
Oh. Okay, guys, turns out there actually was a direct-to-video sequel to this movie.
Oh no.
It was a
Oh,
prequel,
dear.
though. It was
Oh, okay.
basically...
Oh gosh, that's worse.
It's the pilot to the TV series.
Oh,
Basically,
of course.
it was a...
Well, it makes sense, Joe. Like,
They did the same thing with Aladdin, to be fair.
Well, a lot of the Disney direct-to-video sequels, prequels were actually the pilots of a TV show.
Yeah, including Belle's Magical World that failed to...
Cinderella 2.
Even the Atlantis sequels.
So yeah, Cyclops is looking for Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hades... yeah, well, of course, it's Hades. He's going to keep all his bases covered. 24 hours.
And much like the Marvel citizen, now we're way too reliant on the hero. Also, that
At least they're not
fat
blaming
mass,
him for it.
Jesus.
Yeah, true.
Hang on. Oh yeah, I was going to say.
To be
yeah,
fair,
Marvel
Cyclops
said-
were kind of a
maybe
nasty
assholes.
piece of work, even in the
Yeah.
original lore.
If they were Marvel citizens, should they have been assholes to him? Oh, wait, they were.
And now he
Don't
just
worry,
gives no
Greaves,
fucks.
the
at
area
this
is
point.
being evacuated right now.
They're still there. Some evacuation.
Voice is the Cyclops. Check.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Jim Cummings.
Patrick Pinney.
Ha 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 ha.
Oh, he was in the G.I. Joe cartoon, apparently.
So I now see why I was confused. So yeah, apparently you're right. The TV show does take place during his teenage hero years.
Yeah, I
Here's
remember
the
seeing
problem.
it. So
Here's the problem, though. He interacts with Hades on several occasions, to the point where there's even
That's
the
why
Underworld
I thought it
episodes.
would have been
That's
set
why I thought
during
that
the
the TV show was
montage.
set after the movie. Well, remember, Tio. Just a few minutes ago, that's supposed to be Hercules' first time ever meeting Hades. Like seriously,
Yeah.
Herc even knows that Hades is his uncle.
Does the
and
TV
follows his
show
plan.
end with Herc getting getting a memory eraser?
No. Basically, what happens, like, well, the show eventually compromised, and then basically, by the time the show ended, it was taking place after the movie, I believe, by its finale. Which I guess was probably for the best, considering how they even had Herc in, his more typical outfit, too, so... At least that's from what I recall. It's been a long time since I've seen that show. That said, though, the crossovers with Aladdin were still great, especially having Hades be the one to revive Jafar. That was actually pretty freaking clever.
well, the Aladdin sequels were definitely
I'm
some
talking
of
about
those.
the...
Oh, sorry.
Wait,
go
what
ahead.
was... you're saying, Pedro?
Well, I was saying that the Aladdin sequels were some of the better ones, especially the third one.
Oh, I was talking about the TV shows crossing over.
Oh,
Yeah,
no. The
Aladdin
Aladdin TV
got-
show was very good. I like that one.
Oh, absolutely.
It was actually more
mean,
faithful to the original stories than the movies.
The Arabian Night,
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for the most part, Disney shows were pretty good. You had Timon and Pumbaa, which helped make that duo more light than they were.
Timon and Pumbaa was basically Ren and Stimpy light. When you had a lot of the same style of humor. So,
In
There you go.
hindsight, I kind of like it better than Ren and Stimpy.
well,
Especially considering what Ren and Stimpy became later.
well, true, but I still think the original show back on Nickelodeon was fine. It was only when the creators got full freedom that they went completely off the deep end to me.
So there you go. He didn't need too much strength just to outwit the
And Meg
cycle, but-
sacrificed herself for
Oh,
Hercules.
Well, I was just gonna say that one quite well, but
Well, crud, the man was the damsel this time.
There you go.
Again.
By
that's one of
by
the-
wanting to save the woman he loves, he's
No,
proven
actually,
himself.
no. It was because the loophole technically was broken because...
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
He promised that she would not get hurt.
Loopholes only in a Disney movie. Ding!
Well,
Again.
remember, Teo.
I'm joking, Pedro, don't worry.
Not just that, but remember, Teo. Ron and John also did the loophole thing in Princess and the Frog. So
Yeah.
this is their thing.
They went above and beyond with it.
And don't forget, and don't forget the loopholes in Little Mermaid too. Ursula never
Yeah.
said she wouldn't interfere.
Well, she does a proper contract in that movie, so...
But yeah, anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, like I said, as you can see,
That
this
contract is a glaring
Yes,
plot hole.
Java?
As you can see, this movie was pretty much the Frozen of its time, and defying the usual tropes, not only for Disney, but a lot of the typical hero saves the girl plots.
Not so much that, Jova. Like I said, like for a lot of people who like to hate on this movie for reasons that make no sense to me. Like, oh, this is nowhere near as good, nowhere near as emotional as Beauty and the Beast. Well, it's not meant to be. This is a fucking comedy, you dip crap. Do you go into Shrek expecting Grave of the Fireflies? I mean,
well. Anyway, I get that. I'm talking, though, again, how this movie was like the Frozen of its time in subverting Disney tropes.
Sure.
In a good way.
And there you go, just like predicted by the fate, so that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, Hades, you kind of fulfilled your own prophecy.
Pretty much.
Can't get the staff these days, can he?
Yeah.
Where are they now?
Yeah,
That is not something you want to.
don't you
touch.
dare mess with a mating session like that and expect a Nazi blast for it.
Beheading!
Oh, there
But it's
goes
okay,
your-
Teo, because it's cartoony beheading.
No. Not just that, it's a rock. It's okay.
He literally blew his air out.
Physics.
You cannot pick up wind. That's not how wind works.
To be fair, that's something that Silver Age Superman would have done every single day. And that's what makes it believable.
Besides, Pedro, he's descended from the gods. He can
And
kind
the
of flip the bird
atomic
to that.
explosion. Okay.
Sure, why not?
What?
Yeah,
Meg's
well, if Meg's dying, Dwebs, where do you think she's going to? The land of the dead.
Yeah.
Who owns the land of the dead? Hades.
Hades.
Exactly. And there you go.
That's like
The
forever.
the fates are about to cut her string.
And then they drop the scissors or something. You could do it a bit faster, you know. Ah, there you go.
It's suspense.
Sorry.
Dwebs, suspense, dramatic tension.
Somebody's got to die.
Don't worry, I'm back. Oh, crap.
So yeah, there was
Don't
still
worry,
there was still some kind of Greek tragedy in here somewhere, at least.
From what Tio tells me,
don't
the
I
worry.
don't
Italian
know.
vo-
We haven't been miserable
yes,
for like 3
Java?
hours yet.
from what Tio tells me, the Italian voice actor really botched up scenes like this.
Yeah. This is actually something I can tell. Hercules in the Italian dub is voiced by Raul Bova. Who's Raul Bova? If you've seen any episode of Predator, he's the dipshit guy who gets killed like halfway through.
Oh, great.
And cannot emote for saving his life. Unless now it's personal.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
So
So Hades, you want to start back to square one, I guess?
But hey, he's got Hercules' girlfriend for all eternity.
yeah. Oh, here's another bit. Again,
Hercules tamed
he-
Cerberus.
That was one of the tasks, also, tame Cerberus.
Yeah. And remember, originally that was the task that got Hercules killed.
Get a grip.
Into, like,
Ha,
this
ha, ha.
retcon. And yet, here's
all
Hercules.
right, we're about to get my favorite line of 80s in the entire movie. In a moment. Right after the deal.
Wow, the Well of Souls is actually way more
Not that one.
From what I
The
remember.
one when he jumps in. So yeah, he's arguing, take me in Meg's place, basically.
You know, the underworld must be really serious stuff, and that must be what's
Oh, here we go,
keeping
here
the
we go.
gods from coming
Hold on,
down
let's
and
listen.
wrecking Hades.
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, listen here, Dwips. This is my favorite line of Hades. Right here. the delivery is
No, like,
perfect.
all his lines are
You know,
great.
you know, because why? You'll be dead before you can get to her. That's not a problem, is it?
I don't know. It might be, give or take.
So yeah, he's about to age himself to death, but it turned into a godly string. That means there you go.
That means
By sacrificing,
the glowing budget has returned.
by sacrificing himself to save.
I am Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry.
By sacrificing himself for love, he's proven himself a real hero.
There you go. Could have been a better day, I know.
This gift too.
Yeah, punch.
Yes, you did. And you're gonna deserve so much more when I beat your head in Kingdom Hearts 3. I gotta give Hades this. He's a persistent motherfucker as far as...
the nice touch is that how Eric doesn't even bother talking. He just let his piece do the job. Really.
Hoist by his own petard. Wait, this line.
Yeah. He's dying.
Actually, remember, Shira, he's a god, so he can't die. They can't.
Essentially, he's gonna be trapped.
So even worse, he's trapped there now.
Well, yeah, he's stuck. He's
Well,
stuck
if
in a
Ken-
situation
well,
where
if
he
Ken-
knows that-
Don't worry, guys. By the time House of Mouse comes around, he'll be out.
Not just that,
True.
but in Kingdom Hearts, but if Kingdom Hearts 2 is anything to go by, he does eventually come out.
Pedro, Kingdom Hearts 2 is when he falls in. I think you mean
But
Kingdom
he
Hearts
returns
3.
for free, Jova.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta say, again, as far as Disney Kingdom Hearts villains go, Hades is definitely one of the more persistent ones.
And he has also the common sense to not care a shit about what Maleficent tries to do.
Yeah.
What is she trying to do, by the way?
I have no idea.
Take over the
believe me,
world.
Yeah, that's the thing. Maleficent had the best plan, but the stupidest way of executing it.
Anyway,
Which
yeah.
one?
To
Kingdom Hearts
Olympus!
2. Or Recoded. That was quite a wonderful plan. Let's take over a
if I have
diary.
to be honest, though, the entire this moral of the end of the movie, it feels a bit weak. Not in a sense of for the narrative they tried to do, but for the message that the movie has tried to convey through and through. I still don't mind it. It's fine enough as it is, but I think it could have been done just a bit better.
Hello, son. I'm actually not an evil psycho bitch in this version.
Yeah, come to think of it, Jova, they could have easily done a sequel which she turned out to be a bad guy.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe for the live-action remake they'll do something like that.
Don't tell me they confirm one of these two.
Honestly, Tio, at this point, I'm okay with live-action remakes. I mean, Disney, for
that's
the most
thing,
part, have
Jova. I've
proven
seen countless adaptations, and my favorite, one of my favorite is the live-action Sam Raimi TV series, the one with Kevin Sorbo in
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So even if Disney tried to do a live action based on this, it's gonna be hard to top that.
Yeah, that was from back
let-
before Sorbo turned into an annoying dick.
Yeah.
Let me put it like this, Tio. A few years ago, I would definitely have been very doubtful, but Disney have had a pretty good track record, like Pete's Dragon, the live-action Cinderella, Jungle Book. Like, I mean, yeah, there was Maleficent, but aside from that...
Maleficent is the only one that I really disliked, honestly, so of the ones I've seen so far.
Other than that, the live-action remakes have actually been pretty good.
So yeah, he decides to stay because he loves her. Oh.
So...
Also, that it's ironic that Herc. It's funny because you haven't asked your father. If you knew at least half of the things he does when he decides to roam around Greece, you wouldn't say such a thing.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's a nice contrast here. Remember, Meg gave up her freedom to be with a guy who pretty much ditched her the moment he could. Herc has the ultimate chance to be happy, but gives it up for Meg.
Mm-hmm.
And now for the finale number.
And
Star
of course, Dionysus has to bring the wine.
Well.
Dweeps, in case
It's
you wondered,
Aphrodite.
that was Aphrodite, goddess of love.
So yeah, yeah, she's technically married.
She's
to
a little
Hephaestus.
handsy.
She's technically married to Hephaestus, but
Also,
nobody needs to
that
know.
donkey feels like a lost one, a small one reference.
And there you go, Phil got his wish granted.
The constellation of Hercules.
He's finally trained a real hero who went all the way.
And it made him cry.
Oh.
Well, he's finally gotten it, Roy.
A Star is Born. All right.
Oh, yeah. And before you ask, there is a stinger.
And now we have...
A Star is Born again.
Oh, no, never mind. Guess what? After they finish A Star is Born, we have a new version of... what's the name of Hercules' teenage song?
I Will Go the Distance.
That's it, I Will Go the Distance. We have a new version of I Will Go the Distance by Michael Bolton, of all people.
This was Disney's thing during the Renaissance as well. Get a nice remix of the main tune or sort.
And also getting a lot of people back then were not too much famous.
I kind of wish they would still do that, because I mean, back in the 90s they would get no. Here's the thing, Jova. Back in the 90s they would get Celine Dion to do the pop version of Beauty and the Beast. They got Michael Bolton to do the version of this. They got band that I don't know about, but they did a really good version of sorry. What they did, they got Bette Midler to do her version of God Help the Outcasts. But nowadays, for example, from Moana, they got this singer to do the end credits version of How Far I'll Go, and she sounds so much worse than Ali Carvalho. I mean, seriously.
Well, it varies, but hey, Beauty and the Beast live action one brought back the trend.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, and I kind of wish they would just do that all the time, because getting all these pop singers to suck balls.
And hey, how about Jungle Book?
I don't remember who sang in the credits of Jungle Book.
First we had Christopher Walken singing "I Would Be Like You," and then we had Scarlett Johansson singing Ka's song.
Oh, Scarlett Johansson sings. Well, actually, no. Oh, okay. Did she sing this? I don't think she sang in the movie itself. Did she?
No, she doesn't sing it in the movie for some odd reason. Oh, well, but, my point is, I think they're bringing back this trend of having different remix versions being sung.
Yeah, I just want them to actually bring properly talented singers rather than stupid pop singers. Like, for example, it's kind of the same thing how Tangle has that shitty pop song at the credits that feels so out of place, Anyway, final thoughts.
Stick around for the after credits, because there's a very funny after credits bit coming up.
Yeah, now when I think about it, Jova, this was actually one of the few, at least for back in the day, animated Disney movies that actually had a stinger. The other one major that I remember was actually Return of Jafar, even though it was a direct-to-DVD.
And I didn't get my third wish. Dun.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Gary Rydstrom, who was the lead sound designer for this film, he's done a lot of other work as well for Disney. He was an English language director on some Ghibli films, such as Tales from Earthsea, A Rarity from Up on Poppy Hill and The Wind Rises. And he's also directed a few films as well, including that wonderful classic Strange Magic.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of that. Anyway, final thoughts?
It's an animated film that had a story from George Lucas.
Well,
anyway, Roy, since it's your birthday pick, how about you go first?
Sure, I don't really have a whole lot to say anyway. So, again, horridly underrated Disney movie. Like, even now, people still... Well, a lot of people still don't, see how good this movie is. Love the music. One of my favorite soundtracks in terms of 2D Disney animation.
The big problem is that people go into this movie wanting it to be something that it is clearly doesn't want to be, and I fail to see why.
And the movie makes it clear from the very beginning, like you yourself said, that it's not going to be the kind of movie most people expected it to be.
And also, it feels to me what also Emperor's New Groove is the fact that a lot of the Disney audience actually doesn't like when there's too much focus on comedy. But anyway,
I actually like that movie as well. I don't think it's as good as this one.
That's
I
a topic for another issue, but let me just say that I also love it. That's all you need to know for now.
Oh, I like that movie too.
Me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go on, Troy.
But yeah, the humor is top notch, especially from James Woods. Really, this is fantastic. One of my favorite Disney movies in terms of 2D and 3D. So, I'm done.
All right.
Go ahead, Dwibs, since you're the new one. Why don't you go, Dwibs?
It was okay.
All right, then.
Any particular things that you will appreciate over others?
Did you like?
well,
Did you like?
Hades.
Yeah, Hades. It's 80s is
It's
always
everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything else is fine. I've definitely seen better films from the Disney Renaissance era, and I've seen better films than Clemens and Oscar.
I guess your major bummer was the CGI for the Hydra, I guess.
Well, that, and also, the story isn't really much of anything I hadn't seen before, and better, to be honest.
Well,
True.
to be fair, this is kind of a case of Seinfeld is unfunny, and this movie had a few subversions, like the woman not being the typical damsel in distress. She actually saves the guy from dying before he returns the favor. I mean, yeah, a lot of this stuff
right,
does
we're
get
about
done
to
more.
go.
Hold on.
Oh, wait. Wait.
Fun fact.
I don't think that's in the movie. I think James was going nuts.
Fun fact: Nintendo also kind of referenced this in Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yeah. Also, I like how they kept in even to the bit, even with the newer Disney logo thing. Great.
Anyway,
because, basically, Fun Story, Toy Story actually cuts out some stuff because of the new logo. So
It does?
I'm glad. Yeah.
Wow, never heard of it. Wow.
So I'm glad that
go
they kept it intact here.
It's because
it's,
sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, it's a fine movie. I've just seen better from the two directors.
It's because Teo, see, do you remember how in the beginning of Toy Story back in the 90s, it started out with that CGI version of the blue Disney logo, and Randy Newman's score played, and then moves to the movie? Because they replaced it in the Blu-ray with the modern Disney logo, it actually does that logo and then immediately the movie, so we lose a bit of the beginning cues of Randy Newman's score in that one. And it's not that much of an issue. I still have my 90s DVD, so I can still hear that. But it doesn't ruin the movie or anything. But it is kind of a shame that they couldn't, at the very least, adapt the logo to the score instead of just superimposing the logo on the score. I hope they fix that in a later re-release.
Anyway, I guess I'll go next, actually. Yeah, this is a pretty phenomenal movie. Like I said, for its time, it was going against a lot of usual tropes, and it subverted them cleverly. And yeah, honestly, this is one thing I like about Disney, controversies aside. When they have an idea, they stick to it. It's like, well, they don't go for what people were expecting. And again, yeah, people weren't expecting African-American women to get to sing. Yes, that actually is a big deal because race stuff and everything. But hey, screw you, we're actually going to include that. And it's done in a style that works because they're not trying to be one-to-one adaptation of the old Greek myths. Now, if they were actually trying for that, then you'd be able to complain. But no, they clearly know what tone they're going for. And the characters are great for it. Hades is one of the best Disney villains, if I'm ever to say. The Greek gods themselves are nice and varied, but Hercules himself is a nice standout hero in a way. And yes, a lot of that is helped by the soundtrack, which is one of my favorite Disney soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty up there. And yeah, the animation works pretty well. I actually think the CGI aged pretty well to the point where I feel that it works well for the environment it's in. This is a nice, groundbreaking movie. It's a shame it couldn't get some better continuation. I mean, the show's not bad. In fact, I actually think it's pretty good. But considering the messed up time frames and the continuity errors, it could have been better. And, I wouldn't mind seeing it get more representation, although, I guess, to be fair, Kingdom Hearts is keeping Hercules well alive in the public mind.
Mm-hmm. And God bless it for it.
Yeah, I mean, Olympus is one of the few worlds that I'm A-okay with coming back.
Yeah, it's a war that is being stay consistent through the entire franchise.
Mm-hmm. And yes, like I said, the voices here are iconic. Danny DeVito, James Woods, Rip Torn, who I could have sworn was John Goodman, but dang, pretty good sound alike. Hey, this got Josh Keaton on the map. That's good. And surprisingly, I think the guy I've heard the least about lately is the guy who voices adult Hercules. And of course, we have ever wily Rose Quartz as Meg.
And also shout out to the now passed away Charlton Heston, who was the narrator. That was a big thing.
Yeah. So yeah, great movie, great time. Next.
Yeah, the movie's.
Can I go? Go ahead, Pedro. I want to be last, please.
Okay. No, it's a lot of fun. Again, this is clearly not a movie meant to be like. It's not meant to be a deep, complex movie like Zootopia or a classic, emotionally sweeping fairy tale like Beauty and the Beast. It's just meant to be a good, fun comedy, and it succeeds at that. Like, yes, like Theo said, the moral is not exactly the most resonant, and the plot, like Dweb said, is very stock when you get right down to it. However, it's not so much about the story or the moral, if you ask me. It's more about the comedy and the characters, and it works fine in that regard. The Alan Menken's soundtrack is fantastic as always. The animation is great, and it's just a lot of fun. I never bored when I'm watching this movie, no matter how many times I watch it. It's a lot of fun, and that's all that's all I wanted to be, and it succeeded. That's all it needs to be. Go ahead, to finish us off.
All right, I really love this movie. Again, think underappreciated. And that's because, ever since I was very little, talking about 4 years old, I discovered Greek mythos, and I was instantly like a huge fan of them. Also, that was making me discover, play the God of War franchise, for example. But point is, I always loved Greek mythos, how they represented through the ages and everything. And this movie, although making its changes, like I guess every particular Disney adaptation does, it's not that intrusive. And keep in mind, again, this movie is very bold in showing stuff. Like we see the decapitation of Arya, and we see the actual part of the body where the neck was connected. Like that, if it wasn't for the green goop, that's gore through and through in a Disney movie. Like, by the way, that the movie here in my country was released on Christmas. So imagine that taking your kid to see a Disney movie for Christmas, and you get that to see.
It's like how parents took their kids to see Deadpool for Valentine's Day.
I think it was a Valentine's Day movie. The point is, I love this movie. Love James Woods as Hades. Is always a lot of fun. The only part that I say I'm not a fan of were the songs, but that's mostly because I'm not a fan of songs in Disney movies in general. So that's something that's relatively personal. I'm not speaking objectively here, and that's because I also not really appreciate. I'm not an appreciator of the gospel genre in general. So don't take my opinions for it. To take Joe up, since he also more navigated
African American, yeah.
No, also a fan of it. Come on, Joe. You don't need an ethnicity to be a fan of it.
I understand that. It's just a lot of people tend to associate us African Americans with gospel.
Whatever. Point being, the other minor thing that I could say also is Herc's adult voice actor sometimes gets a line or two relatively miffed, but it's not that intrusive. Again, and he got better in time. I can tell you that the lines he voices in Kingdom Hearts are actually much better. The ones
according to you, is at the very least better than the Italian actor. So
definitely, and that's the problem. I think I mentioned to the other guys, but not in commentary. Aside from Hercules and Megara, usually the rest of the voice actors, also in my version, were really good. Granted, the one which was for Hades was not as awesome as James Woods sounding, but he was really competent. And also there's an entire separate special case for any video, but it's a thing for us Italian, you wouldn't understand. But for example, Herc was Bob, as I mentioned, and Meg sounded kinda at the same process that Mega Man has in the Captain N cartoon. She sounds like she smoked an entire Marlboro factory. She has this very 60-year-old raspy voice that doesn't fit the character at all. But aside from all this, I love this movie. I will watch it a lot of times, and also the good thing is the pacing. Like this movie runs, very fast, and you don't feel those 90.
I might as well.
Kirk, it's on a roll.
I might as well add to what Theo just said. For the Portuguese, the Portuguese dub of this movie is fantastic in general. Not only do they get great actors who do a good job mimicking the original voices, especially when it comes to James Woods, because we have a voice actor over here who has a voice that's very similar to James Woods, and he's really, really good at mimicking James Woods' comedic timing, to the point where he also voiced the villain in the Recess movie, which I'm sure will also confirm for me that he's also voiced by James Woods. So basically, whenever James Woods does something here in terms of voice acting, he's usually the actor they go for over here, and he does a fantastic impression of him. So we succeeded with that.
Over James Woods for Shark.
Sorry.
Whatever. That's about it. Go ahead.
Anyway, the great movie. I've watched it all again. Close us off, Shiro.
Go ahead, Jiro. Finish us off.
Okay. So that was it for that. Tune into the next movie we do. Disney movie?
Yeah.
Sure.
Any movie.
That works.
Yeah.
See you, everybody.
Just
See ya.
And...
Yeah.